Chapter 11 Canaan College Enrollment. You are listening at novelfull.audio. A month passed in a flash. In addition to practicing every day, Xiaoling went shopping with Xiao Suner. In the morning, just after dawn, Xiaoling opened his eyes, got up, put on his clothes, and left the courtyard. He got up early on purpose because he was afraid that there would be too many people going to register later, and it would be too troublesome to queue up. After leaving Zhao's house and arriving at the selection site, he found that there were indeed not many people. Xiaoling breathed a sigh of relief and walked towards the tent in the square. There were not many people at this time. Xiaoling did not enter the human wall formed by the soldiers as in the original book, but came to the registration site in the center of the square one by one. In front of him was a tall and large tent. In front of the tent, there were several young people who were testing the cultivation of the applicants. The registration requirement was 18 years old and the 8th stage of fighting spirit, which was simple for Xiaoling. Although there were many people around outside, it was not the first time that Canaan College recruited students. The conditions had long been spread, but there were not many people who were confident that they could be selected. More people came to watch the fun. You are too old, next one. Not long after, Xiaoling also walked in front of the test crystal ball. The test was conducted by a female student. She saw a handsome little boy walking in. He was estimated to be no more than 10 years old. Because of the good first impression, she did not look down on him. She smiled brightly and handed over the test crystal ball in her hand. Little brother, this test crystal is very simple. Inject Do Qi into it. As long as the strength reaches the 8th stage of Do Qi, it will light up, and then you will pass it. Xiaoling did not hesitate. He grabbed the crystal ball in his hand and injected Do Qi into it. When the crystal ball emitted a brilliant light, he returned it to the female student. The female student was a little surprised that it really lit up. After all, Xiaoling was too young. I passed, sister. Xiaoling's voice pulled her back from her trance. Oh, I passed, but you are really a little genius. That the female student pointed inside. Just walk inside. Nodding, Xiaoling walked into the tent. There were only some newcomers who had passed the test, not many people, and they were not basking in the sun like in the original book. This made Xiaoling feel relieved, but he didn't want to waste too much time on such things. The little guy has good talent. It seems that I picked up a treasure today. The sudden female voice attracted Xiaoling's attention and looked inside. In the shadow of the tent, a woman in green was standing with a smile on her face. On her beautiful face, there was a gentle smile, her eyes were moving, and her eyes were staring at Xiaoling. This should be the teacher Ruolin in the original book. What a beauty! Xiaoling couldn't help but sigh in his heart. Xiaoling walked forward, bowed, and said, "Hello, teacher. My name is Xiaoling." Ruolin didn't put on any teacher's airs, and said, "My name is Ruolin, just call me Teacher Ruolin." Little brother, how old are you this year? You should be less than 10 years old. This is the first time I've seen someone so young pass the test. I'm 8 years old this year, and I'm a 1-star fighter. As soon as Xiaoling said this, the people who were communicating around him cast their eyes over. There was surprise, envy, and jealousy. Ruolin was ecstatic when she heard this. The pen in her hand was clenched tightly, making a creaking sound. She stared at the child in front of her with shining eyes. She didn't expect that she had really picked up a treasure. After calming down, Ruolin smiled and said, "Although your strength has not reached S level yet, because you are still young, I will give you S level treatment. This is the highest treatment I can give you. Is it okay?" Shaking his head, Xiaoling did not expect such a good thing to happen. "Thank you, Teacher Ruolin, I have no objection." "Okay, then we will gather here in 3 days. Now you can go home and say goodbye to your family." Waving her hand, Ruolin turned and left. She had to report to the school's senior management. This kind of talent is rare even in the inner courtyard. Seeing this, Xiaoling did not stay any longer. He turned and left the tent and walked towards the Xiao family. The moon is in the sky, and the sky is full of stars. Xiao family, back mountain, Xiao Suner and Xiao Ling sat on the hillside, looking at the stars in the night sky together. The two leaned against each other shoulder to shoulder. The evening breeze blew, and their black hair blended together, making it difficult to separate each other. The boy looked sideways, and the moonlight fell on the girl's delicate face, like a bright moon elf, elegant and mysterious. Looking up at the stars in the night sky, Xiao Ling felt only an incomparable tranquility. "Brother Xiao Ling, I will go to Canaan College to accompany you next year, what do you say?" Xiao Suner said softly. "Okay, then we will practice together, and then enter the inner courtyard together." Xiao Ling said with a smile, holding Suner's jade hand. Nodding, Xiao Suner leaned her head on Xiao Ling's shoulder, listened to the boy's gentle breathing, and fell asleep unknowingly. Ling Ying, who was hiding in the dark, couldn't help shaking his head, and sighed in his heart. It seems that the young lady's heart has really been stolen by this boy. In fact, he didn't have any bad feelings toward Xiao Ling, but felt that the gap between their identities was too big, and it was difficult for them to get together. Well, let it go. 3 days passed in the blink of an eye. Last night, Canaan College announced the enrollment rankings, which also made Xiao Ling's reputation widely spread. Many people sighed that such a genius appeared in a small Xiao family. During these 3 days, Xiao Ling did not go to practice. He accompanied Xiao Suner to play everywhere every day. Their footprints were left in every corner of Wutan City. Standing in front of Xiao Suner's courtyard, looking at the person nestled in his arms, Xiao Ling shook his head helplessly. "Suner, if you don't let me go, I'll be late." Looking up and rolling her eyes at Xiao Ling, Xiao Suner took out a porcelain bottle from her ring, which contained a ball of red flame. Raising her hand and handing it to Xiao Ling, Xiao Suner said softly, "This is a beast fire from a 6th-level fiery wolf. Didn't you say you were going to become an alchemist? This is a gift for you." After that, she broke Xiao Ling's hand and stuffed it into her palm. Looking at the beast fire in his hand, Xiao Ling was ecstatic. The burning technique was just at the stage where it lacked flame evolution. The flame was ready. As long as the elixir was ready, he could advance to the next level. Putting away the beast fire in his hand, Xiao Ling touched Xiao Suner's head and said, "Suner, you are really my lucky star. As long as you like it, it's nothing. When you go to Canaan College, remember to think of me." Seeing Xiao Ling's happy look, Xiao Suner also smiled. "Of course, I will think of Suner every day, very much." Xiao Ling gently stroked the girl's cheek, kissed her forehead lightly, and then turned and left. Facing the setting sun, the boy's figure became farther and farther, until he disappeared from the girl's eyes. Chapter 12, Set Off for Canaan. You are listening at novelfull.audio. On Wutan City Square, all the students and recruiters who passed the admission requirements gathered together. After the number of people was determined, Instructor Wolin walked up to everyone, folded her hands on her chest, and said in a stern tone, "First of all, congratulations again for standing out and having the qualifications to go to Canaan Academy to practice with us, but don't go too far. You are proud and complacent. There are countless talented people in Canaan College. You are not qualified to be proud at the moment. Remember, working hard to improve your strength is what you should do at your age. Okay, it's useless to talk more. There are some things that you will understand when you get to Canaan College. Just follow me first." After Wolin finished speaking, she waved her hand and turned around to lead the way. Everyone walked through the market and followed Wolin and a group of old students to a lawn outside the city. "I will summon the flying mounts from Canaan Academy later. Don't panic, everyone. The flying mounts raised by the Academy will not attack people at will." After Wolin finished speaking, she waved and took out a jade flute, and blew it from the sandalwood mouth. The ethereal and melodious voice spread far and wide. After waiting for a while, some small black spots appeared in the sky. As they got closer and closer, they gradually saw the shape of a bird. After a while, several huge birds and monsters roared from the forest and landed in front of everyone. The wind was howling, and the huge air current stirred up large amounts of dust. Everyone had no choice but to stretch out their hands to cover their faces. After these birds and monsters landed, their huge bird faces looked straight at everyone. This scene made the surrounding freshmen tremble with fear and retreat. Even Xiaoling shed a drop of cold sweat. Although he had expected it before, it was still strange to see such a big creature for the first time. He shook his head. This is a fantasy world and cannot be compared with the animals in the previous world. I used my soul power to sense it a little. Although these monsters looked very large, their aura should be around the 3rd level. The monsters specially used for mounts were indeed huge. As expected of Canaan Academy, the depth of its foundation is evident from this. All students are admitted using 3rd level flying monsters. Even if I break through to the King of Fighters and can fly, I will still catch one and keep it by my side, a Lolita. Taishu Ancient Dragon Rider must be very impressive. Thinking of this, he wanted to enter the inner courtyard of Canaan Academy as soon as possible. The old students on the side looked at the freshmen and looked scared out of their wits, with experienced smiles on their faces. These new students look exactly like they did back then. Don't be afraid, these flying monsters are very gentle. We will fly them back to the academy. Ruolin turned her head to look at the performance of the freshman. Seeing that Xiaoling didn't show any fearful expression, he nodded. He was younger than the others but more courageous, and couldn't help but feel more satisfied. As soon as she finished speaking, Ruolin used her fighting energy to jump up and onto the back of the flying monster. He spoke again, "Come up, everyone, we need to go." After hearing this, everyone nodded. First, a group of old students jumped on the back of the giant bird, and at the same time used fighting energy to stabilize their bodies, looking very cool. Then Xiaoling also jumped onto a nearby bird and landed steadily. Finally, the rest of the freshmen jumped up very carefully. After everyone came up, the flying monster opened its wide wings, jumped up, flapped its wings, and flew into the sky. As the flying monster flew higher and higher, he watched the Wutan city under his feet gradually become smaller and listened to the wind whistling by his ears. Xiaoling closed her eyes and experienced the feeling of being in the air, causing waves in her heart. It won't take long before I can soar in the sky with my own abilities. Although Dowang is a realm that many people cannot reach in their lifetime, Xiaoling believes that he can achieve it. Dowang is just a starting point. Returning to the room arranged by the instructor, sitting on the bed, Xiaoling calmed down and called out the system panel. System, open my people panel. Hey, the host personal panel is automatically opening. Host, Xiaoling gender, male, cultivation, fighter 1 star, fighting attribute, fire, mixed with a trace of wood attribute, kung fu, burning Jew, Tai soul Jew. Flame, level 4 peach blossom fire, fighting skills, suction palm, low level of Xian level, crushing claw strike, intermediate level of yellow level, splitting mountain palm, intermediate level of yellow level, gravel palm, intermediate level of yellow level, items, 20. For bridges on a moonlit night, the 4th level earth rock turtle beast fire, the 4th level sea dragon beast fire, the 6th level raging fire wolf beast fire, the best lucky card, the shocking estrus pill, and unlimited Coke bottles. Number of draws, 4. Looking at the 4 draws left, Xiaoling said, System, use 4 draws. Hey, congratulations to the host for extracting the 8th order 8-tailed fire fox beast fire source fire in the system extraction. Hey, congratulations to the host for extracting the torso bone of the 100,000-year-old blue silver emperor of Dolua continent during the system extraction. Hey, congratulations to the host for extracting a map of the Dozun ruins of Dochi continent during the system extraction. Hey, congratulations to the host for extracting the Rayquaza elf egg from the Pokemon world during the system extraction. With a thought, Xiaoling opened the system warehouse and began to look at the item introductions one by one. The 8th order 8-tailed fire fox beast fire source fire, comes from the body of a long-dead 8-tailed fire fox in the ancient wilderness, and the energy within it is severely lost. Xiaoling was very satisfied to see that it was actually an 8th level beast fire with little energy. It happened that the level of the burning art was low and the flame needed to evolve. This kind of flame with good quality but little energy was just right. If there was too much energy, he would be burned to death. 100,000-year-old blue silver emperor trunk bone, the sole bone left by the previous generation of blue silver emperor after he fell in the heavenly tribulation. Since it is the soul bone left by the previous generation of Blue-Silver Emperor, then the current Blue-Silver Emperor should still be Ah-in. I just don't know if the little punk is born now. Dozun Ruins Map, built by a Dozun strongman 1,000 years ago before his death. It was passed down to future generations, but no one could activate it. It requires soul power to reach the great perfection of the mortal realm. Stretching out his hand, an old paper fell into his hand. Xiaoling looked closely and saw that there was only a cauldron on it. It seemed that this Dozun should have been an alchemist when he was alive. He released his soul perception to the maximum and felt a strong restriction. He couldn't help shaking his head. His soul power was not enough now. He would look for it again when he reached it. He closed the map and continued to read the last item introduction, Rayquaza Pokemon Egg. After hatching, you can capture a Rayquaza, which is a super ancient Pokemon that lives in the ozone layer. Because of the different worlds, it can be trained but cannot transform into a human form. Xiaoling's eyes lit up. He didn't expect that just when he was looking for a mount, a handsome one came. It was really a pillow for a sleepy person. Chapter 13 Arrival at the Academy. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Xiaoling took out the spirit egg of the split sky seat from the storage space with a thought. He held it in his hand and weighed it. It was quite heavy. There were black and yellow stripes on the eggshell, which looked very mysterious. When he put his ear against the eggshell, he could hear some faint heartbeats, which made people look forward to its early birth. After putting away the spirit egg, Xiaoling took out the Blue-Silver Emperor torso bone. When the soul bone was obtained, there was no violent energy diffusion. Instead, it gave people a gentle feeling, which made the whole person's fatigue disappear. The blue light flickered on his body, giving people an elegant temperament. Without thinking any more, Xiaoling picked up the soul bone and pressed it against his abdomen. The next second, the crystal soul bone in his hand shone brightly, turning into a warm current with a cool breath into the spine. In the blink of an eye, the soul bone disappeared, and Xiaoling's entire torso was filled with blue and gold light, cool, comfortable, without any obstacles or discomfort. Feeling the abundant energy in his body, Xiaoling began to circulate his Do Qi to refine it. These energies were not as violent as Do Qi, but rather very gentle, giving people a feeling of moistening things silently. The energy wandered in the bones and muscles, enhancing Xiaoling's physical fitness. Time passed by, the moon set and the sun rose, and in a blink of an eye it was the morning of the third day. The sun shone into the house from the window and sprinkled on Xiaoling. Gradually, Xiaoling's body changed a little. His long hair turned from black to blue, his body grew taller, his skin became whiter, and his slightly immature face had a few more edges and corners. If the bone age was not measured, most people would think that this was a teenager of 14 or 15 years old. Xiaoling only felt a sense of coolness in his mind, his thoughts became clear, and his soul power also improved. Feeling the changes in his body, Xiaoling couldn't help but exclaimed, "It is worthy of being the Blue-Silver Emperor with top life attributes. It is simply reborn." Slowly opening his eyes, the blue-gold pupils flashed with joy. His cultivation has reached the 5-star doja, and his foundation is very strong. He was also very satisfied with the 2 new skills he acquired, namely wildfires cannot burn out, spring breezes blow and regenerate. And disguise, the former is a super recovery skill that can regenerate broken limbs, and the latter is a functional skill that can hide one's own breath. Before Dozong, it ignores the level difference, and after Dozong, those who are not higher than one major realm cannot see the flaw. A wound was cut on the palm, and a few drops of bright red blood flowed out. The soul bone skill wildfires cannot burn out, spring breezes blow and regenerate. The wound in the palm disappeared immediately. The effect was very good, and Xiaoling was very satisfied. Xiaoling stood up and found that his clothes were a little tight and he had grown a little taller. He walked to the mirror in the room and saw the person in the mirror. He was stunned. I didn't expect that absorbing soul bones could have such an effect. The blue-silver plastic surgery I heard about on the internet in my previous life was indeed powerful, but now it looks a little hard to explain. Xiaoling shook his head and stopped thinking about these things. It will take us several days to reach Canaan College. Now that I have mastered the healing skills, I have the confidence to deal with the backlash of swallowing the beast fire. There is no need to worry. Time passed slowly. In addition to the necessary supplies every day, the rest of the time was spent on flying. It took a total of more than 10 days to reach Canaan College. On the way, Teacher Wolin also introduced the forces around Canaan College and the general situation of the Blackhorn region to the freshmen. Canaan College is located in the Blackhorn region. There are all kinds of people here, and there are no constraints. There are many wanted people and money and treasures of unknown origin. Therefore, in the Blackhorn region, there are desperate people who kill for money and treasures. I also reminded you that if you have the idea in the future and want to train in the Blackhorn region, remember 2 points. One is to disguise yourself and try not to show money and treasures that people are thinking about. The second is not to underestimate anyone in the Blackhorn region. Especially the elderly, women, and children. Those who can survive in the Blackhorn region are not easy to deal with, and Canaan College has created a piece of pure land in it and maintained order in the surrounding area. The law enforcement team patrols around the college at all times, and the law enforcement team is composed of instructors and students. Killing people in the Blackhorn region who have ill intentions towards the college is also a way for students to see more of the dangers of the world. Xiaoling also has a better understanding of Canaan College and the Blackhorn region, and no longer just stays in the impression of the book. In order to avoid attracting unnecessary attention, Xiaoling activated the camouflage skill to hide his strength back to the original level. At the same time, his hair color also turned back to the previous black. He planned to gain a foothold in Canaan College first, and then he would no longer need these disguises. After absorbing 5 beast fires and swallowing them, Xiaoling's cultivation level was raised to the peak of the 9-star fighter, and the burning art was also promoted to the lower level of the mysterious level. I plan to settle down for a while these few days. If I break through too quickly, I will not be able to control my own strength, and my fighting spirit will be a little empty. Xiaoling moved his mind and opened the system panel. Ding, the host's personal panel is automatically opening. Host, Xiaoling gender, male, cultivation, fighter 9 stars, fighting chi attribute, fire, with a trace of wood attribute, skills, burning art, low-level Xian level, Tai Soul absolute. Fighting skills, suction palm, low-level Xian level, claw strike, intermediate Huang level, mountain splitting palm, intermediate Huang level, stone breaking palm, intermediate Huang level, flame, fusion beast fire, items, 24 bridges moonlit. Night, split sky seed elf egg, infinite coke bottle, Dozun ruins map, number of draws, 8. After looking at the 8 remaining chances to draw, Xiaoling still didn't make a move and planned to use it when he got to the academy. He took out the Rayquaza elf egg and used the blue silver emperor's torso bone to inject a trace of life energy into it. Seeing the egg shake, Xiaoling couldn't help but smile. She should be born soon. Pack the elf egg in a backpack and carry it on your back. Xiaoling has no intention of storing it in the system warehouse until the little guy is born. Next morning, the sky was dim and bright. Knowing that he would arrive at the academy today, Xiaoling ended his training early and walked out of the room. Standing on the back of the flying monster and looking down, the outline of a staggeringly huge city appears in sight. Even if you are high up in the sky, lean down and look down. Only the tip of the iceberg of Canaan City can be seen. A glimpse of the leopard shows how huge this city is. Get up and get your luggage ready, we're already here. It was the voice of Instructor Wolin. Not every student is very diligent in practice, and not every student will get up so early. Listening to the noise coming from the surroundings, Xiaoling had nothing to prepare. Except for the elf egg on his back, all his things were stored in his belt. Not long after, the flying monster under his feet let out a low roar, flapped its wings, and swooped down towards the huge city. When you come to Canaan College, the first thing you see is a solemn gate. The steps in front of the door and the huge square extending from the door are covered with fine steel rocks. The main body of the courtyard gate is made of fine jade, especially the 4 words Canaan Academy on the plaque. It's shiny and gold, and it's worth a lot of money at a glance. Canaan College, with its profound heritage, shocked these freshmen just from the gate of the college. Even Xiaoling lamented that Canaan College was really rich. After entering the college, the old students came to assist with enrollment. After getting the contribution points for completing the task, they all left one after another. All freshmen followed Tutor Woolen to the square and were assigned tutors according to their own evaluation levels. The tutors then allocated students residences. When others dispersed, Instructor Woolen walked up to Xiaoling. Looking at Xiaoling expectantly, he said, "Xiaoling, with your talent, you can choose from all the tutors in our outer college. Every tutor hopes that his students will be geniuses. But I still hope you can come to my class. What I can guarantee you is that in my class, I will definitely give you the highest level of treatment and training resources." Touching his chin, Xiaoling said, "Teacher Woolen, I am actually a fire and wood attribute, and I plan to learn alchemy. There is no one in Wutan City who can teach me, so I plan to come to Canaan College to study. If it doesn't affect my study of refining medicine and cultivation, I can agree to it." Woolen understood what she said, and it was just freeing, but it was okay to go free. Anyway, there was nothing to teach this kind of genius. When he graduates in the future, at least he will have a teacher-student relationship, and maybe he will remember himself when he grows up. A little bit leaked out from the cracks of the fingers, enough to satisfy oneself. So he said, "It's okay. The Academy's medicine refining department and law enforcement team are the same, and there is no conflict with our teaching class. Our teaching class is mainly to assist students in their cultivation. All students in the teaching class choose to join the alchemy department or the law enforcement team according to their talents and interests. When you join the medicine refining department, there will be dedicated instructors who are responsible for teaching medicine refining techniques, and they will also provide special medicinal materials for students to gain experience. For those who join the law enforcement team, there will also be instructors who will teach practical skills, and under the leadership of the instructors, students will be able to pass the actual combat to gain combat experience." Woolen explained Xiaoling's question seriously. After understanding, Xiaoling smiled and said to Woolen, "I understand, thank you teacher for clarifying my doubts. I am willing to join the teacher's class." Hearing Xiaoling's clear reply, Instructor Woolen also showed a charming smile. "Don't worry, my class will definitely not let you down. There is one more thing, I almost forgot about it. The principal of the outer college, Hu Qian, plans to meet with you. I will take you there." Although the principal is a powerful warrior at the peak of Do Huang, he still has a good attitude towards students. After saying that, Woolen led Xiaoling towards the principal's office. Xiaoling, who was walking behind, touched his chin and thought, "Why are you calling me alone? Do you want to accept me as your apprentice?" That he shook his head and didn't think much about it. Just take it as it comes and see what the situation is. Chapter 14, Entering the Alchemy Department. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Not long after, the two of them walked to a quiet courtyard. The courtyard was very simple and there was no luxurious decoration. If you didn't know, you would think it was just an ordinary civilian family. Woolen went forward and knocked on the door first, then said, "Principal Hu Qian, I have brought Xiaoling here." "Okay, let him in, I'm very curious about him." A powerful voice came from the house. Although it sounded a little old, its voice was very penetrating and could not be underestimated. Xiaoling pushed open the door and walked into the small house. He bowed to Hu Qian first and said, "Student Xiaoling, meet Principal Hu Qian." He looked up and looked at Hu Qian. He wore a black and white robe and a big hat with white gold patterns on his head. A pair of gold-framed glasses rested on his somewhat old face, and there was a tuft of white beard on his chin, which gave people a very friendly feeling. Hu Qian stopped writing and looked up at Xiaoling, not caring about the look he had just given him. He smiled amiably and said, "Child, how old are you this year? Why do you want to come to Canaan College? What is your current cultivation level?" "Dean, I am 8 years old this year and I am already a fighter," Xiaoling said calmly, with a glimmer of maturity far beyond that of an ordinary child in his eyes. "I want to quickly enhance my strength, and I am also very interested in alchemy, so I chose to join Canaan College." As his voice fell, Xiaoling exuded the unique aura of a fighter. Although he was still very immature, it was enough for people to feel his potential. Hu Qian heard this and felt the aura of Xiaoling. He stepped forward and touched Xiaoling's hand, and his eyes became brighter and brighter. He was already very happy. He has a solid foundation in cultivation, and his physical fitness is stronger than some fighters. He also has a strong beast fire in his body. The attribute of his fighting spirit is also fire mixed with a trace of wood attribute. His soul power is also quite strong. He is a natural alchemist. With such a genius, my Canaan college will surely be great again. Seeing Hu Qian's eyes that seemed to want to eat him up, Xiaoling's forehead was covered with a drop of cold sweat, and he hurriedly said, Dean Hu Qian, is there anything else? Realizing that he had lost his composure, Hu Qian's old face turned red, and he coughed twice and said, I won't beat around the bush with you. Your talent is the best in Canaan College in the past 100 years, and you can be considered a top genius in Zhongzhou continent. We plan to do our best to cultivate your growth, but the benefits are not taken for nothing. After you graduate from the college, you will serve as an elder in the college. I also know that Canaan College will not be your final destination, and you can also go out to gain experience. As long as Canaan College is in danger, you can help. When you are old, it is also a good choice to live here. Moreover, our Canaan College has a profound foundation. Although the principal is not in the college, he has left many precious treasures. It is definitely the best place to train you at this stage. If you don't want to become an elder of the college, we will also train you well. Although the resources are not so much, it is better than the treatment of S-level freshmen. You just need to remember this incense in the future. So what is your answer? After saying that, he stared at Xiaoling, and the smile on his face disappeared. Seeing Hu Qian's serious eyes, Xiaoling did not hesitate too much and said, I am willing to become an elder of the college after graduation. The college has helped me to become a talent. I will definitely protect the peace of the college and contribute to the development of the college. I will not let the college down for cultivating me. Hearing the satisfactory answer, Hu Qian laughed, okay, then you go back to your dormitory to rest first. If you want to learn alchemy, go to the alchemy department tomorrow. The instructor there will teach you alchemy. After that, he took out a ring and handed it to Xiaoling. There are medicinal materials for refining first-grade to third-grade elixirs in it, which are enough for your early practice. If the medicinal materials are not enough, you can come to me again. Reaching out to take the ring and nodded, Xiaoling thanked him, turned around and walked out of the room, asked teacher Wolin about the location of his dormitory, and told her that he would go to the alchemy department tomorrow, and then walked away alone. Xiaoling looked at the ring in his hand and felt a little touched. Although Xiao Yan in the original novel could make medicine easily, apart from his talent, he had a medicine master who was known as the #1 alchemist in Duki continent to teach him personally. Even so, Xiao Yan also spent a lot of medicinal materials. In all these years, the Jiama Empire has only produced one 6th-grade alchemist, Gu He, who was cultivated by Yunlan Zone with countless resources. It can be seen how much resources alchemists consume. He came back to his senses and stopped thinking about these things. He came to his dormitory and opened the door. He sat on the bed, and the fatigue from the turbulent flight and cultivation in the past few days surged into his body. He stretched his waist and fell asleep. The next morning, Xiaoling woke up from the bed in the college dormitory. After washing up, he put on the school uniform on the bedside table, looked in the mirror, and was very satisfied with this outfit. After leaving the cabin, he couldn't wait to run towards the alchemy department, walking on the bluestone path in the campus, watching the boys and girls in school uniforms coming and going and communicating with each other. Xiaoling looked a little dazed, as if he had returned to the familiar university life in his previous life. He smiled and shook his head. It's impossible to go back to the past. After a while, he arrived at the door of the alchemy department. Xiaoling found a middle-aged man who seemed to be a mentor and expressed his idea of joining the alchemy department. The mentor first asked Xiaoling if he had the talent of an alchemist and whether he had learned alchemy before. After explaining that he only had the attributes of an alchemist but had never learned the art of alchemy, and after confirming that what he said was true by testing the Do Qi attributes, the instructor first told Xiaoling about the common sense of the alchemy system. First, in our alchemy department, instructors who are 4th grade alchemists or above will give lectures regularly. The courses are open to the public and anyone can attend. You can ask the instructor questions after class. Of course, if a student has outstanding alchemist qualifications and is accepted as a disciple by his mentor, the mentor is willing to spend time and teach his students everything. Of course, it is another matter. Secondly, in our alchemy department, every time you advance to the first level of alchemist, you can get 3 elixir prescriptions as rewards. You can choose the type of prescriptions. If you want to get more prescriptions, you need to exchange them with contribution points, and contribution points are you can help the academy practice medicine in exchange. Remember, the prescriptions obtained from the academy are not allowed to be passed on to anyone else. Of course, the medicinal materials that help the college refine medicine are provided by the college, but the elixir yield rate needs to be guaranteed. In addition, alchemists of different levels can apply to the college for certain medicinal materials for practice every month. Regardless of success or failure, if the elixir is returned successfully, if the college fails, the medicinal materials will also come from the college. However, you are still a novice, so you don't have to think about it so much for the time being. Just study hard first. Remember my suggestion. The growth of an alchemist consumes huge resources. You first buy more medicinal materials and practice. After you get the products, you can help the college refine medicine to obtain follow-up resources. Xiaoling nodded to express his understanding and looked down at the Neiji in his hand. Without the support of medicinal materials from the academy, he might have to work hard to earn resources in order to improve his level of alchemy. Suddenly, an old man walked out of the medicine refining department. When he saw Xiaoling, his eyes suddenly lit up and he said, "Boy, you are the new student who just came here." "Xiaoling, right? I am in charge of refining medicine. A 5th grade alchemist, you can call me Elder Hua." The fact that the academy has recruited an 8-year-old 9-star fighter is already well known among the higher-ups of the academy. The 8-year-old fighter Zhexing was so exaggerated. He had never seen such a person in his life. As time goes by, he grows up and becomes a strong fighter. I don't know how many times stronger than Hu Qian's so-called evil granddaughter. At first, Elder Hua began to know that Xiaoling, in addition to his outstanding talent in cultivation, also had the talent to be an alchemist. He planned to quickly accept him as his disciple. When Xiaoling grew up, he could brag about it to his old friends. As a result, just when he was about to go out to look for Xiaoling, the old man Hu Qian actually came to the door first and told him that the child needed guidance from the elders of Canaan College and to become an apprentice to several teachers, so he rejected his idea. Out of curiosity, he came today to see what the child's talent as an alchemist was. Although he couldn't be accepted as a disciple, he could only teach him personally about refining medicine. In this way, he would become a high-level alchemist in the future, and he would teach him step by step. Student has met Elder Hua. I am Xiaoling. Xiaoling stepped forward and bowed and replied. I heard that you have outstanding talent in cultivation, but I don't know what your talent in refining medicine is like. Come with me, and I will teach you some knowledge about medicine refining first. After speaking, Elder Hua walked towards the medicine refining department. Seeing this, Xiaoling thanked the middle-aged tutor just now and quickly followed him. Walking to a study room in the alchemy department, Elder Hua first handed Xiaoling a Na ring and said, "This Na ring contains some exercises and fighting skills suitable for alchemists to practice, as well as some books and prescriptions. Medicine cauldron, take it back and watch it for yourself. You have a special status in Canaan College. If you don't understand anything, just ask me." Seeing Elder Hua saluting like this, Xiaoling bowed and said, "Thank you to the academy and the elders for their cultivation." When Elder Hua saw Xiaoling, he was sincere and respected his elders, without the arrogance of ordinary young geniuses. He stroked his gray beard and smiled, admiring Xiaoling's attitude very much. You have never been exposed to alchemy before. Let me tell you some common sense about alchemy first. If you want to make medicine, you must first have a medicine cauldron. The alchemist's medicine cauldron is like a samurai's weapon. It is indispensable. There are levels of medicine cauldrons. The more fire openings in the cauldron, the higher grade the medicine cauldron is and the rarer it is. This kind of fire opening is not just a matter of drilling a few holes. The secret inside is difficult for laymen to detect. The fire opening is difficult to detect. Is the essence of the medicinal cauldron and requires high-precision polishing. During the building process, if there is even a slight error, the entire medicinal cauldron will become a failure. Therefore, the more fire openings in the medicinal cauldron, the more auxiliary effect it will have on refining medicine. And stronger. Of course, if you want to control multiple fire outlets, you need strong soul perception. Except for the medicine cauldron, the flames we use for refining medicine are generally flames catalyzed by our fighting chi. Therefore, to make high-quality elixirs, we need deep fighting chi cultivation. Even the lowest level of elixirs also require the cultivation of a fighter. You might as well have reached it early. For us alchemists, the best flames are of course the divine fires naturally bred in heaven and earth. They are all born in the most dangerous and difficult places in the world, so they can be encountered but not sought. Elder Hua also said the same in his eyes, revealing a desire for alien fire. And we at Canaan College have a strange fire. Not just one, there are two. Xiaoling secretly muttered in his heart. He is a person who knows the details of Canaan Academy. One is a mature body and the other is a juvenile body. They are all fallen heart flames. No one can see it and no one is confused. It's a pity. The senior officials of Canaan College didn't know about this. Otherwise, the fallen heart inflammation that has been causing so much fun would have been refined long ago. Elder Hua saw Xiaoling's eyes becoming fiery as he told her story, thinking that he was trying to plot against the fallen heart flames of the academy, and shook his head indifferently. Don't think about this strange fire. This strange fire is the foundation of the college. Anyone who dares to think about it is the enemy of Canaan College. You will know the specific situation when you get to the inner courtyard. Don't tell others about the strange fire in the academy. Although the academy is not afraid of others making trouble, don't cause trouble. When Xiaoling heard Elder Hua's warning, he nodded solemnly and said, I know, Elder, but I won't tell anyone. Don't be disappointed because you don't have the strange fire. In addition to the strange fire, you can also find other flames instead, such as animal fire, the effect is equally good. As Elder Hua said, he stretched out his right palm, and a dark black flame emerged from the palm. The space around the flame was faintly distorted. Xiaoling, who was not far from Elder Hua, could feel a terrifying heat. Hearing this, Xiaoling also summoned his own fusion beast fire, opened his palms, and a blue-pink flame came out, which looked very agile. Then he said, actually, I have also refined a piece of beast fire. What do the elders think of the quality of my beast fire? Seeing this scene, Elder Hua also became somewhat interested. He looked at the beast fire in Xiaoling's hand with interest and gave his own evaluation. Your kind of beast fire is a bit like the beast fire of the raging fire wolf, but it is a little softer than it. Although I haven't seen it yet, the quality should be not low, and it is better than the ordinary 6th level beast fire. It's even higher. Although the energy is not strong, it matches your current cultivation level very well. As the strength becomes stronger, the beast fire will also become stronger, so it is very suitable for Dozong. Withdrawing his gaze, Elder Hua continued, we have almost covered the theoretical knowledge. Now it is time to get started. Come to the alchemy room with me. I will demonstrate it to you first, and then you can practice by yourself. I will keep an eye on you. If you have any questions, you can ask me at any time. After finishing speaking, Elder Hua turned around and left the study. Xiaoling quickly followed, feeling very happy that her journey as an alchemist was finally about to begin. Chapter 15, Refining Medicine. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Xiaoling followed Elder Hua and walked into the alchemy room. After a while, when he walked in, Xiaoling felt a heat flow all over his body, just like walking into the drawing room in his previous life. Fortunately, he has become a fighter now. After a little circulation of Do Qi, the heat feeling faded away by half, and the fire attribute became more active here. If he practiced here, he should make faster progress than usual. Looking towards the center of the room, he saw a medicine cauldron nearly half a meter tall. The whole body of the medicine cauldron was brown with some red stripes on it. At the bottom of the medicine cauldron, there were 2 ferocious wolf heads carved with wide-open wolf mouths, forming 3 interconnected fire holes. The holes were curved and continuous, and the deeper they went, the smaller the diameter was. It seemed that there was a mystery hidden inside. At the top of the medicine cauldron, a giant snake was coiled into a dark red cauldron cover. There was also a special hole at the top of the cauldron cover, which was the place for putting in medicinal materials. The surface of the medicine cauldron is painted with beautiful carvings of magical beasts, which look lifelike, like living things. The alchemy room is a place where the medicine department specializes in refining medicine. The medicine cauldron equipped inside is the same as the one I gave you, all of which are 3-mouthed cauldrons. Elder Hua walked to the medicine cauldron and waved his hand, and a pile of medicinal materials appeared next to it. Watch carefully, I will only demonstrate it once. The next step was also the first time that Xiaoling saw the process of the alchemist refining medicine in a real sense. The dark flame entered the medicine cauldron, and the herbs were devoured by the flames one by one in the medicine cauldron, leaving behind the essence of medicinal properties in powder or paste. Finally, the essences of various medicinal materials merged into a prototype of a pill with pits on the surface. With the tempering of the flame, the pill in the cauldron became round and green, and a faint medicinal fragrance spread from the cauldron. Originally, the alchemist needed a quiet environment to refine medicine, without any disturbance. But because it was a first-grade pill, it was very easy for Elder Hua, so Elder Hua would explain every step in detail. The elixir was quickly made. Elder Hua used his Do Qi to grab the elixir, then put it in a jade bottle and threw it to Xiaoling. He slightly activated his suction palm, and the jade screen fell steadily into his hand. Before Xiaoling put it into his belt, Elder Hua said, "This is a first-grade elixir, the fire condensation pill, which can slightly improve the cultivation of fire attribute Do Qi. There is a recipe in the ring. You can practice with this elixir yourself. I just demonstrated it once, and now you can also refine it once." After speaking, he stepped aside and gave up his position. Taking a deep breath, Xiaoling emptied his mind first to make himself free of distractions, put his hand on the fire port of the medicine cauldron and inject the beast fire into it. Puff! With a muffled sound, the blue-pink beast fire appeared in the medicine cauldron, constantly churning and burning. Xiaoling closed his eyes and began to sense the wood-attributed Do Qi in his body. Since absorbing the 100,000-year-old blue-silver emperor's trunk bone, Xiaoling's affinity for wood attributes has greatly increased. It only took a minute to lock onto the green Do Qi. Xiaoling stretched out a finger and tapped on the other fire port. A green airflow as thick as a thumb was slowly poured in. As soon as the green airflow entered the medicine cauldron, the blue-pink beast fire inside suddenly became quiet as if a chemical reaction had occurred. At this time, even if Xiaoling had not yet controlled the beast fire, he could sense that the violent factor in the beast fire had been neutralized by the power of wood, and because of the principle of wood generating fire, the flame at this time was obviously more durable and controllable than before. After recalling the medicinal materials needed for the fire condensation pill and the refining techniques of Elder Hua in his mind, the soul perception invaded the medicine cauldron and began to control the beast fire. Thanks to the excellent soul perception and the neutralization of the wood-attributed Do Qi, Xiaoling seemed to be very good at controlling the beast fire. Put the required medicinal materials into the medicine cauldron step by step, extract and purify the medicinal materials, integrate the essence of multiple medicinal materials into a prototype of the elixir, and continue to refine with flames. Following the steps of Elder Hua, Xiaoling carefully completed each requirement. After 7 failures, he finally refined the first elixir in his life on the 8th time. Although the appearance was bumpy, it also made Xiaoling smile widely. He took out a special jade bottle, urged the suction palm to put the elixir into the bottle, and put it into the belt. This was the first elixir he refined, and Xiaoling had planned to keep it well. Elder Hua on the side was quite satisfied and smiled like an old father. Facts have proved that Xiaoling is not only talented in cultivation, but also has a talent for refining medicine, Elder Hua said. Although the appearance of the pill is not good and the surface is bumpy, it is very rare to be able to complete the breakthrough from 0 to 1 in such a short time. I have to admit that you are much better than I was back then. Hearing this, Xiaoling became playful and said, "How long did it take you to refine the pill for the first time?" Elder Hua's smile gradually disappeared, his face turned a little dark, and he rolled his eyes. I thought he was an honest child, but I didn't expect him to be so black-bellied. I actually made a mistake one day, coughing his throat. Elder Hua changed the subject and said, "Although you have refined a first-grade pill, it does not mean that you have become a real first-grade alchemist now. There is a little luck in the refining process just now. And to become a real first-grade alchemist, you must also ensure the quality and success rate of the pill. Remember to practice hard in the future and never slack off." For Xiaoling, Elder Hua still hopes that he can be down-to-earth and not be proud and complacent because of a little achievement. After all, he is half of his apprentice, and he certainly hopes that Xiaoling can go further and further in the way of alchemy. In the past many years in Canaan College, he has seen too many geniuses. Although there has never been a monster like Xiaoling, there are countless geniuses who are one level lower than him, because of arrogance, not listening to advice, wasting cultivation talents, and being unable to fulfill their original potential after growing up. He has seen many such people. Understood, I will practice diligently in the future. For Elder Hua's earnest admonition, Xiaoling quickly agreed. He also knew that he should not be complacent because of some small achievements. What's more, Xiaoling also knew that there was a demon girl Qiaoying from the Qiao family in Zhongzhou, who could make pills at the age of 7. Xiaoling really didn't think that his talent for alchemy would be better than Qiaoying Dan Chen and the like. Seeing that Xiaoling really listened to his teachings, Elder Hua nodded with satisfaction, stroked his beard, and waved his right hand, and a large pile of medicinal materials appeared next to the medicine cauldron. These are the medicinal materials prepared for you to practice. If you don't have enough in the future, go to the warehouse and report my name, and they will give you the medicinal materials. Seeing this, Xiaoling hurriedly bowed and said, "Thank you, Elder." Elder Hua smiled and stroked his beard, leaving only one sentence, "Continue to practice well next," and left the alchemy room. Chapter 16, Cultivation. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After Elder Hua left, Xiaoling continued to walk to the medicine cauldron and began to practice alchemy. Whenever the fighting spirit in his body was consumed, he would sit down and start practicing fighting spirit. Feeling his cultivation getting stronger bit by bit, Xiaoling showed a satisfied smile. In this way, alchemy and practice continued to alternate. The sunset had dyed half of the sky red. Walking out of the alchemy room, Xiaoling stretched his body greatly, and a crackling sound came from his body. Reaching out to the 24 bridges moonlit night on his waist, he took out the Coke bottle from it and drank all the drink in the cup. Most of the fatigue of the day was gone, and he couldn't help but sigh in his heart, "I have never been so refreshed." Returned to his room and took out the ring that Elder Hua gave him today. The soul perception poured into it and began to check the items inside one by one. First of all, there are the techniques, the low-level earth-level technique fiery sky-burning art. Then there are the fighting skills, the advanced Xian-level body technique chasing wind quick step, the advanced Xian-level fighting skill Fan Tian Palm, the advanced Xian-level fighting skill red flame fist, and the low-level earth-level fighting skill fiery meteor. There are also some books about alchemy. The complete collection of medicinal materials, how to identify pills, medicine cauldron identification manual, 3 years of fire control and 5 years of alchemy, annotations on alchemy techniques, 100 tips to become an alchemist. Looking at these techniques and fighting skills, Xiaoling couldn't help but sigh, it's worthy of Canaan Academy. They are generous when they make a move. They think I don't have a good technique to practice, so they give me a low-level earth-level technique. There is also a low-level earth-level technique 9-layer Phoenix Fire Absolute in the library. This foundation is much stronger than that small place of the Gamma Empire. Just looking at these books about alchemy, Xiaoling couldn't help but twitch his mouth. and felt a little like going back to school in his previous life. After a simple arrangement, Xiaoling put away all other books and fighting skills, picked up the book 100 Tips to Become an Alchemist, half lying on the bed, and read it with relish. Days passed, and after coming to Canaan College, Xiaoling's life gradually became regular. Every morning, he went to the alchemy room of the Alchemy department to refine pills and practice fighting spirit. Occasionally, he would ask Elder Hua for advice on something he didn't understand. Elder Hua was also very concerned about his half-apprentice. Every time Xiaoling asked about some doubts about alchemy, he would answer patiently and seriously, giving Xiaoling a lot of help. Elder Hua, who had been in Canaan College for an unknown period of time, was very experienced in teaching students. He knew that geniuses and ordinary people had different receptive abilities, so his teaching method for Xiaoling was more inclined to let him learn to think about problems and understand knowledge. Everyone is different. Only by walking out of your own alchemy path and having your own insights can you become an excellent alchemist. Xiaoling did not disappoint him. He made rapid progress in alchemy and learned the basic knowledge and alchemy techniques very well. His soul power was also constantly improving, more than double that of his peers. Although Xiaoling spent a lot of time and effort on alchemy and cultivation, he did not neglect actual combat practice. No matter how powerful a person's own strength is, if he cannot use this power reasonably, he can only bully some practitioners with weaker cultivation. If you want to be invincible at the same level or fight across levels, practical experience is indispensable. Xiaoling often exchanges with students in the academy, and sometimes asks the teachers and elders of the academy for advice. At the beginning, because he could not master his own fighting skills well, lacked combat experience, and could not exert his full strength, Xiaoling would also lose to some opponents with equal cultivation. By now, Xiaoling has gained a lot of experience in actual combat, and his mastery of fighting skills has also been greatly improved. With his excellent physical fitness, super body recovery ability, and soul perception far beyond the same level, he can be said to be a rare opponent in the same realm battle, and can compete with a realm higher than himself. Such a growth rate has made Xiaoling famous in the academy. The teachers and students in the academy call him the first genius of Canaan College. Xiaoling gladly accepted these praises, but he did not become proud and complacent, because he knew what he was pursuing. In order to achieve his future goals and get those opportunities, this strength was not enough. In the Duki continent, strength is respected, and big fists are the hard truth. The top management of Canaan College is also more and more satisfied with Xiaoling. His talent and character are impeccable, and he is very respectful to his elders. Even the elder Su Qian of the inner courtyard smiled when he saw Xiaoling, and sometimes came to the outer courtyard to guide Xiaoling in his practice. Time passed like water, bit by bit, and 2 years passed in a flash. On a battlefield in the academy, 2 students were sparring with each other, and the fighting power spread to the surroundings, causing ripples. On the viewing platform next to the fighting stage, many students were sitting and watching the sparring. They were whispering and discussing. Xiaoling is really talented. He is already a great fighter at the age of 10. He deserves to be the first genius of Canaan Academy. This talent is really terrifying. I didn't condense the fighting cyclone to become a fighter when I was 10 years old. Xiaoling is getting more and more handsome. I really want to have a baby with him. After a while, the sparring on the stage was decided. Xiaoling deliberately exposed a flaw and knocked his opponent off the fighting stage with one punch when he was caught off guard. Seeing this scene, the crowd in the stands cheered, and the scene was extremely lively. Xiaoling jumped down from the stage, landed in front of the young man, helped him up, and used the soul bone skill. Wildfire cannot be extinguished, spring breeze blows and regenerates to treat him. This is a slender and handsome young man, who looks about 17 or 18 years old. Seeing that he was fine, Xiaoling withdrew his hand and said, "Brother Lin, I was a little too heavy in the sparring just now. You are not injured, right?" That the young man waved his hand, smiled bitterly and said, "It's okay. Your healing skill is quite effective. No wonder you recover so quickly every time you spar. I just didn't expect you to defeat me, a 4-star great fighting master, just after breaking through the great fighting master. You are really a monster." Xiaoling scratched his head and replied with a smile, it's just the convenience of fast physical recovery and strong soul perception. Brother Lin, your strength is the best among the same level. When you reach Doling and use the skills to condense Duki wings, I may not be able to get any benefits from you in Doling. Chapter 17, The Sky-Splitting Seat. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The person who fought against Xiao Ling was none other than Lin Xiuya, the second most powerful student of Canaan Academy in the original book. He has not yet entered the inner courtyard, but at the age of 17, he has reached the level of a 4-star fighting master and can already compete with one of the current patriarchs of the 8 ancient races. Nowadays, the people Xiao Ling knows in the outer courtyard include Lin Xiuya, Lu Qin, Lin Yan, and Han Yu. With his outstanding talent and unique alchemy skills, Xiao Ling has a very close relationship with them. Moreover, the 4 of them also discussed joining forces in the fire energy hunting competition half a year later to seize Lao Xing's fire energy. In this way, they would not have to worry about cultivation resources when they first entered the inner courtyard. Xiao Ling remembered that in the finale of the original work, these 3 men had all reached semi-saint status. Although they had Xiao Yan's help, how could they achieve such an achievement without any talent? As for establishing a good relationship with Han Yu, I can only say that she is a sister in black stockings. Ahem. Pulling Lin Xiuya up from the ground, the 2 of them walked towards the passage leaving the competition field. Suddenly, a black monster flew out of the passage, stopped in front of Xiao Ling, rubbed Xiao Ling's cheek intimately, and kept hovering around him. Taking a closer look, this monster has a slender body, most of it is black, with several golden circles on its back, red-edged flanks on its shoulders and under its body, and a fin-like structure at the end of its tail. There are 2 long, flat horn-like structures on the head, and 2 smaller horns below. There are 2 clear fangs at the tip of the upper snout. It has a pair of yellow eyes with black pupils in the middle. It has 2 arms, and each limb has 3 sharp claws. There is a faint cold light shining on them, making people know at a glance that they are extremely sharp. It is hovering and flying in the air, looking very flexible. This was the Rayquaza elf egg that Xiao Ling had drawn before. After nearly a year of incubation, it was born on Xiao Ling's 9th birthday. I originally thought it was an ordinary Rayquaza, but I didn't expect it to be shiny. I can only say that it is indeed very handsome. After touching the head of the empty seat, Xiao Ling said to it, "Xiao Kong, get into my sleeve, and I will make candy for you later." Hearing this, Rayquaza nodded, licked Xiao Ling's face, then shrank his body and got into Xiao Ling's sleeves. Lin Xiuya on the side saw this, his eyes were full of envy, and he said sourly, "This guy is so handsome, I want to get one to raise." Xiao Ling just smiled mysteriously after hearing this. There was only one cracked empty seat in the Doqi continent, and it could not be recaptured by others. The potential of this Rayquaza is very terrifying. It is now a 3rd-level monster. As long as you give him medicinal materials, he can absorb energy and refine it to increase his strength. It's just that the amount he eats is relatively large. It's almost like practicing alone. The current Xiao Ling cannot afford 3 times the resources required, and he is still using the resources provided by the school. Then why did its cultivation improve so quickly? Of course it was because he found a good mother, Xiao Suner, the richest woman in Doqi continent. The medicinal materials were given to it for free, and its cultivation improved rapidly. Most of this guy's food was fed by Xiao Suner, and Xiao Ling only occasionally refined some pills for it. Yes, Xiao Suner also came to Canaan College. When Xiao Ling was 9 years old, Xiao Suner came to Canaan College with the cultivation level of 8-year-old and 8th level Doqi. Of course, no one knows the true cultivation level. Anyway, judging from Xiao Ling's guess, it should not be worse than himself. In the original work, Xiao Suner didn't practice well in order to save Xiao Yan's face. Later, Xiao Yan was invincible and cheated all the way. He also absorbed the pure lotus demon fire and part of the Golden Emperor's burning heaven flame to surpass Xiao Suner. I can only say one thing, the divine bloodline is so terrifying. Now that Xiao Ling's cultivation has improved so quickly, Xiao Suner may not practice with all his strength, but he will certainly not waste his talents. After walking out of the passage, he saw a girl walking up to Xiao Ling with a charming smile. this moment of amorous feelings made the surroundings seem to lose their luster, and the whole world seemed to be focused on this girl. Xiaoling was dumbfounded, Lin Xiuya was dumbfounded, and the people around him who paid attention were also dumbfounded. After reacting, he felt the eyes around him looking at him, with envy, admiration, and jealousy. Xiaoling couldn't help but feel a little embarrassed that he was stunned. After releasing the Rayquaza from his sleeves, Xiaoling used his fighting energy to land firmly on his back, then he stretched out his right hand toward Xiao Suner, with a smile on his face and said, "Suner, I will take you for a spin in the sky." Hearing this, Xiao Suner nodded happily. Although she often rode the empty seat by herself, Xiaoling never rode with her because of her intense daily practice. He put his soft and boneless white hand on Xiaoling's big hand, and with a slight jump of fighting spirit, he sat in front of him. Xiaoling also took the opportunity to wrap his left hand around Xiao Suner's slender waist, and held the eldest lady a little tighter in his arms. Feeling the little one in his arms, fragrant and soft, Xiaoling felt relaxed and happy. Following Xiaoling's order, Rayquaza, who had already been connected with him, immediately understood. He raised his head to the sky and let out a long roar, then swooped into the sky and disappeared from everyone's sight. Lin Xiuya, who stayed where he was, couldn't help but twitching at the corner of his mouth as he looked at the two people who had disappeared. "I am really speechless. You are spreading dog food and stuffing it into my mouth in front of me. Is there any justice or royal law?" Lin Xiuya has not fallen in love with Xiao Suner yet, probably because he is an adult, while Xiao Suner is still a 9-year-old girl, almost half his age. Maybe because he has Xiaoling, his childhood sweetheart, so he has no intention of competing. If Xiaoling knew about this, he would only shake his head in disdain. Xiaoling, started with a genius style, not the kind of loser counterattack style that Xiao Yan did. Xiaoling is too lazy to do things like pretending to be awesome and slapping others in the face. With the amazing speed of the sky-splitting seat, it took only a quarter of an hour to pass through the clouds and fly into the stratosphere. At this time, the sun was setting, the sea of clouds was constantly rolling, and the sunset shone on the clouds, as if they were in an orange-red world, beautiful and spectacular. Of course, the original intention of the two was not to see any scenery, but the people were important. They both had feelings for each other, riding on the same mount. Even if they just wandered around the streets and alleys in the city, it would be satisfying. As for the scenery, it was just a little embellishment. As Rayquaza flew, the strong wind blew along the cheeks of the two, blowing their hair in all directions. The blue, silver and black hair intertwined together, appearing very peaceful and beautiful. Chapter 18 Extraction. You are listening at novelfull.audio. A few strands of hair that had not been tied into the braids blew directly onto Xiaoling's face, and a faint fragrance of hair hit her nostrils. Xiaoling just wanted to say something. However, he accidentally held a few strands of hair, and a faint feeling rippled in his mouth, making him forget what he wanted to say for a moment. After arriving in the mountains surrounding Canaan College, Xiaoling patted the dragon on the back. Rayquaza immediately slowed down his speed knowingly, and began to float among the clouds in an unhurried manner. Until this time, only then did Xiao Suner have time to straighten her hair. The body that was half lying in Xiaoling's arms couldn't help but sit up, but as soon as I sat up, I immediately felt a chill on my back. I was out of the warm embrace, and I felt a little uncomfortable. After looking at the hand still hugging her waist and abdomen, Xiao Suner thought for a while and simply lay back. One of the two hugged each other, and the other cuddled up, just like a passionate couple. From afternoon to evening, the two really had a fun time. Sometimes I enjoy a moment of warmth among the clouds, and sometimes I walk through the forest in the mountains. When she was about to leave in the evening, Xiao Suner held a bouquet of unknown wild flowers in her arms. Although I can't tell what kind it is, and it's not very pretty, the petals are dotted with red, and they look particularly beautiful when held together. At the same time, Xiao Suner, who is becoming more and more attractive, is more delicate and beautiful than flowers, which is really touching. Suner, we should go back. Although the happy time was very short-lived, both of them knew that it was time to return to the academy. If it was later, it would be late at night, and it would be inconvenient to stay outside the academy. So after hearing Xiaoling's call, Xiao Suner could only pout, and took Xiaoling's left hand to get on the back of the empty seat. Walking through the clouds, Xiao Suner held a flower in her arms and leaned against the familiar and warm embrace behind her, which made her twist a little comfortably. Then she thought of something and suddenly asked. Brother Xiaoling, are you going to the Black Corner domain to practice? That kind of place is too dangerous, can you not go? Xiaoling touched his chin and said, although I can communicate and discuss with students, tutors, and elders in school, which has significantly improved my practical experience, I still lack the ferocity in my actions. I still feel I need to experience some real fighting to become more comfortable in battle. And with the escorts looking after each other, safety should not be a big problem. If I fight with others in the future, others will not show mercy to me. In fact, Xiaoling has never seen any bloody scenes in his 2 lives. At most, he only saw relatives killing chickens and fish in his hometown. It is the last word to have big fists in Duki continent. There will be a lot of fighting and killing in the future. See the world in advance. It's better than not being able to adapt and making some mistakes in the future battles. Battles between masters pass by in an instant, and a single carelessness may lead to death on the spot, so it is still necessary to see the world in advance. Which strong person has not experienced a life-and-death fight? Even Haibudong, the famous one of the top 10 strong men in the Jiama Empire, who was titled Ice Emperor, also realized the heaven level in a life-and-death battle with Medusa, the queen of the snake tribe. Advanced fighting skill refreshing, so that in the next peak competition, 5 stars will reach the peak, and 2 stars will defeat the dozome. If it weren't for the ice attribute fighting spirit, Xiaoling would definitely learn Xianbing Longxiang. Xiao Suner listened to this explanation, nodded, and said, Brother Xiaoling, you must be careful, don't get hurt. She thought in her heart, let Uncle Ling follow Brother Xiaoling when the time comes, and we can't let Xiaoling no harm comes to my brother. Hearing this, Xiaoling couldn't help but smile. In fact, he also guessed that Xiao Suner would release Ling Ying to protect him, but Xiaoling would definitely not entrust his life and safety to others. He would definitely solve it himself. Solve it, and you won't provoke those you can't beat. Xiaoling couldn't help but smile and said, will Suner miss me in the academy? Xiao Suner nodded, then he bumped his head on Xiaoling's chest, and said in a soft tone, of course I will miss Brother Xiaoling. Brother Xiaoling will come back soon. Xiaoling nodded and said, don't worry, I will be back in less than a month. Pulling Xiao Suner's hair back, she lightly tapped her mouth and watched her face become more and more rosy. Xiaoling couldn't help but laugh, the eldest lady is so cute. Under Rayquaza's fast flight, he quickly entered Canaan College and arrived in front of Xiao Suner's courtyard. After sending Xiao Suner back to the courtyard and leaving the empty seat in her care, Xiaoling also returned to his room. Sitting on the bed, Xiaoling called out the system panel after a long absence. With a thought, Xiaoling was ready to open the system panel. System, open my personal panel. Hey, the host personal panel is automatically opening. Host, Xiaoling gender, male, age, 10 years old, cultivation, great fighter 1 star, soul power, middle mortal realm, fighting attribute, fire, mixed with a trace of wood attribute, kung fu, burning Ju, low level of Xian level, Tai soul Ju. Fighting skills, Xian level advanced movement skill chasing the wind quick step, Xian level advanced fighting skill burning sky palm, Xian level advanced fighting skill red flame fist. Earth level low level fighting skill fire meteor. Flame, fusion beast fire, items, 24 bridges on a moonlit night, Dozuan ruins map, infinite coke bottles, number of draws, 18. Seeing that there were already 18 drawing opportunities, Xiaoling suddenly felt itchy in his hands. He was about to fire 10 consecutive draws, so he said, System, let's fire 10 consecutive draws. Hey, the system is drawing. Congratulations to the host for drawing 100 gold coins. Hey, the system is drawing. Congratulations to the host for drawing 500 gold coins. Hey, the system is drawing. Congratulations to the host for drawing 1,000 gold coins. Hey, the system is extracting. Congratulations to the host for extracting the 10,000 soul banner. Hey, the system is drawing. Congratulations to the host for drawing a bottle of mortal cultivation transformation pill. Hey, congratulations to the host for extracting the Huanglong pill from mortal cultivation to immortality during the system extraction. Hey, congratulations to the host for drawing a bottle of mortal immortal transformation and forgetting pill during the system extraction. Hey. Congratulations to the host for extracting the Great Desolation prisoner's finger from the Great Desolation monument in Tianxian continent during the system extraction. Hey. Congratulations to the host for drawing a Huangji pill during the system extraction. Hey. Congratulations to the host for drawing a Pazong Dan during the system extraction. With a thought, Xiaoling focused on the system warehouse, and sure enough, many treasures appeared. Seeing that gold coins were actually drawn 3 times, I couldn't help but think, it seems that it is still possible that the items drawn are not very good. If you are not lucky in the future, it is better not to draw. Chapter 19 Going to Experience. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Shaking his head, Xiaoling skipped the gold coins and began to check the item introductions one by one. 10,000 souls banner. Can store souls, the souls inside devour each other and enhance strength. Can summon the soul inside to fight, can view the soul's memories before death, and can improve its quality through blood sacrifice. Currently, it can only accommodate 10 souls, and can only collect souls with the same realm as the user's soul power. Seeing this introduction, Xiaoling was shocked. Fuck, the famous human emperor banner, if you don't work hard to cultivate immortality today, you will be brothers in the 10,000 souls banner tomorrow. This thing is too weird. Unless it is necessary, it is better to use it less. He stretched out his hand and a black flag appeared in his hand. It looked very ordinary, just like an ordinary black flag. Xiaoling bit his tongue and dripped the blood onto the banner to recognize the owner. After a while, Xiaoling had an inexplicable connection with the 10,000 souls banner. In the future, unless Xiaoling died and his soul dissipated, no one could use this thing. Without thinking too much, he put it into the storage space and continued to look at other introductions. A bottle of Dingyan pill, contains 15 Dingyan pills. Dingyan pills can make the person who takes it look forever young and unchanged. Dingyan pills, this is a good thing. It is also a very precious pill in the world of immortal cultivation. The age of the medicinal materials is more than 1,000 years. Han Lao Mo doesn't have the resources to refine it without the palm of heaven bottle. Xiaoling's mind moved, and a porcelain bottle appeared in front of him. He took it in his hand, opened the bottle stopper, and looked inside. There were indeed 15 Dingyan pills inside. Give this as a gift to my wives in the future. Yellow Dragon Pill Recipe, records the refining method and required medicinal materials of the Yellow Dragon Pill. Taking the Yellow Dragon Pill can help cultivators improve their own skills and achieve the effect of rebirth. Yellow Dragon Pill, this is a treasure that helped Han Lao Mo improve his cultivation in the early stage. I wonder if the practitioners in Duki continent can use it. He stretched out his hand and the prescription of the Yellow Dragon Pill fell into his hand. He began to check the medicinal materials and refining methods. Medicinal materials with similar medicinal properties can be found in Duki continent, but the drug resistance will be higher. It can only improve the speed of Duki cultivation. It is similar to the use of foundation building spirit liquid. I will give it to Xiao Yixian and Qinglin for early use. I have also restored the prescription of foundation building spirit liquid myself. I have to thank the original book for describing it in such detail. It is oral and medicinal bath, and the effect must be very good. A bottle of Forget Worry Pill, contains 15 Forget Worry pills, which can make the user forget the memory within 1 day. With a thought, a porcelain bottle appeared in his hand. When he opened it, there were 15 Forget Worry pills inside. Shaking his head, Xiaoling put it away. This kind of thing is quite operational, but it is not very useful at present. Great Wild Prisoner Sky Finger. Great Wild Prisoner Sky Finger is a martial art created by the Great Wild Emperor of Tianxian continent, and its grade is the martial art of creation. Seeing this martial art, Xiaoling was a little surprised. Isn't this the move that Lin Dong, the male protagonist of Martial Universe and the future master, often uses? He stretched out his hand and the cultivation method fell into his hand. After flipping it open and checking it out, Xiaoling couldn't help but sighed. This move is really useful. Although it can't be used now, it requires Do Ling to use it, but the upper limit is also high. It can be used all the way to high-level Do Sheng. It is a little higher than the upper limit of Emperor Seal Art and a little lower. Xiao Ling nodded with satisfaction and put it into the system space Emperor-level pill, a 6th grade peak pill. After taking it, it can make Do Huang Strongman upgrade 1 to 2 stars. It can only be taken once in a lifetime. Pazong pill, a 6th grade peak pill. After taking it, it can increase the chance of Do Huang peak breaking through Do Zong, and it can also stabilize the cultivation after the breakthrough fails. With a thought, 2 pills appeared in his hand. At present, these 2 pills have no effect on Xiao Ling. He took out 2 jade bottles, used the suction palm to put them into the bottles, and put them into his belt. Looking out the window, it was already night, and the sky seemed to be a black silk ribbon dotted with countless twinkling stars. A bright moon hung high in the sky, casting a silvery white glow, as if covering the earth with a veil. Without thinking any more, Xiao Ling formed a hand seal for cultivation, and used the cultivation time to replace sleep. The next morning, Xiao Ling formed a hand seal to end the cultivation and walked out of the cultivation room. Looking at the time, it was almost time to agree with Dean Hu Qian. Stretching his waist, Xiao Ling first washed up, then walked out of the room and walked towards Hu Qian's office. Ling Ying in the small courtyard next door saw Xiao Ling going out early in the morning, and remembered the instructions of his own lady yesterday. He looked at Xiao Suner sleeping, then moved his eyes away and followed Xiao Ling not far away. Xiao Ling was unaware of this situation, but he would not think too much if he knew. Arriving at the door of Hu Qian's office and knocking on the door, Xiao Ling said, "Dean Hu Qian, I am Xiao Ling." Hu Qian's voice came from inside the room, "Xiao Ling, come in quickly, the door is not locked." Hearing this, Xiao Ling pushed open the door and walked into the room. Seeing Hu Qian staring at him with a smile, Xiao Ling bowed first, found a seat and sat down, and then said, "What did the dean ask me to come here for before?" Seeing Xiao Ling find a seat and sit down, Hu Qian did not care at all that in the past 2 years, Xiao Ling had a very good relationship with teachers and elders in school. After knowing each other for a long time, you will find that Xiao Ling is a very casual person. And this side will only be shown in front of close people. Hu Qian smiled gently and said, "Aren't you going to go out to Canaan City for some training? Your progress in the past few years has been very good. We are very satisfied with you. This time we are giving you an assessment task. If you have. After entering the inner courtyard, your strength reaches Do Ling, and you don't need to wait for the strong ranking competition to start. You can be given 1 person to use the Fallen Heart Flame Origin Tempering Body, but it is much more difficult than 10 people to temper the body together. Your ability to recover should last." After hearing this, Xiao Ling couldn't help but sigh in her heart. This academy treats me really well. Even the Xinyan Origin Tempering Body was open to me alone. Xiao Ling couldn't wait to ask, "What is the assessment task?" Touching his beard, Hu Qian said, "It is to select a person from the wanted list of the college patrol team who is a 5-star master or above and kill him. These are those who disrupt order in Canaan City, and those who escape are definitely not weak among the same level, so they must not be careless." After Xiao Ling heard this, he nodded and said, "Then Dean, I will go complete the task and wait for my good news." After speaking, he turned and left. Hu Qian looked at Xiao Ling's leaving figure and nodded. "In fact, this morning I originally wanted to persuade Xiao Ling to practice in the academy for a while. Even if he went, he would arrange for someone to protect him secretly. But the mysterious Do Huang expert who was guarding Xiao Suner came to him yesterday and told him that he would protect Xiao Ling's safety, so he had nothing to worry about. And a truly strong person still has to go through the training of battle." Chapter 20 Experience. You are listening at novelfull.audio. 3 days later, Black Rock City. A young man is walking on the street. He is wearing a black robe, with long blue-silver hair hanging behind him. He wears a half-face mask on his head, only revealing a pair of blue-gold eyes. He is about 1.7 meters tall. It was Xiao Ling who had left Canaan College to gain experience. Call out. At this time, a little boy who looked to be 11 or 12 years old rushed over the crowd and seemed to be avoiding something, but his trajectory was to hit Xiaoling intentionally or unintentionally, bang. Before he could get within 1 meter of the two of them, the little boy was violently whipped away. The chest in front of him seemed to have been hit hard and sunk slightly. He coughed out a few mouthfuls of blood. The boy struggled a few times. Then he collapsed to the ground. This kind of injury may be life-threatening if not treated in time, and several small money bags fell from his chest at this time, highlighting his identity. Xiaoling withdrew his hand that was slapping horizontally, his eyes were extremely cold, and he slightly moved his hand to suck. A few bags of gold coins fell into his hand, and were collected in the 24 bridges on a moonlit night. In the shadows on the street, there were also a few obscure sight lines that gradually retracted. It is now the 3rd day after leaving Canaan College. Because Xiaoling used the camouflage skill of the 100,000-year-old blue-silver emperor's torso bone to simulate the strength of a 5-star dosher. On the way to Black Rock City, those above the master level look down upon him, and those below the fighting master level do not dare to provoke him. Those who came to provoke Xiaoling were all Do masters and great Do masters, but in the end, Xiaoling took advantage of them all. I still remember that 2 5-star fighting masters were following me. When I walked into a small alley, I was surrounded by the 2. Xiaoling first pretended to surrender, waited for one of them to approach, then directly attacked one of them, and then challenged the other to a duel. A single kill in 1 round. At that time, both of them were dumbfounded. Xiaoling only replied, "You two are not bad, you can continue to be brothers in the 10,000 souls banner." Then they were included in the 10,000 souls banner. After walking into a fairly gorgeous hotel and walking towards the front desk, Xiaoling said to the obese man behind the front desk, "Book a room." The obese man who was lying behind the front desk and taking a nap saw someone entering the inn. He looked at Xiaoling carefully, and a golden light flashed in his small eyes. Xiaoling threw out a small money bag, which contained bulging gold coins, making a jingling sound. The fat man's eyes were full of greed. He picked up the money bag and weighed it. Then he looked at the ring in Xiaoling's hand and the belt on his body. The smile on his face became more greedy, but he said with some disgust, This is the best hotel in the city, and this money is not enough. At least 10 more, oh no, 20 gold coins." Under the black robe, Xiaoling's eyes were slightly lowered, but without any reaction, he threw another money bag over. Seeing Xiaoling's bold look, the obese man became more and more enthusiastic as if he was seeing a big fat sheep. "Okay, sir, please wait a moment and I'll arrange a room for you right away." At the same time, he secretly exclaimed in his heart, it was still missing just now, but he could make a small profit at night. A little fighting master actually had 2 storage items on his body, which was definitely worth a lot. After walking into the room he booked, Xiaoling looked at it for a week. Although it was not very gorgeous, the furniture, tables, chairs and beds were quite complete. He walked to the bed and sat cross-legged, and took out a wanted poster from 24 Bridge on a moonlit night. If you look carefully, you can see that it is the portrait of the obese man downstairs, as well as some basic information. Tang Ritian, who is good at using hammer fighting skills, has cultivated into an 8-star fighting master. He runs a hotel in Black Rock City and often assassinates his customers. Putting the wanted order back into his belt, Xiaoling said to himself, real hunters always appear as prey. I hope the battle will end tonight, just in time to test the power of the fighting skills I imitated and created before. No longer thinking about it, he sat cross-legged, formed the cultivation mudra and began to practice. His body began to absorb fighting energy, and his soul perception was always paying attention to the movements around the room. It's 3 o'clock at midnight, the moon and stars are sparse. While practicing, Xiaoling found a figure walking towards his room. The soul perception concentrated on checking and found that it was Tang Ritian downstairs. At this time, he was holding a black sledgehammer in his hand, and his eyes were full of greed. Seeing this, Xiaoling also quickly withdrew from practice. He first used the camouflage skill to cover his aura, and then summoned the Agni Wolf Beast Fire and the Nether Sea Dragon Beast Fire, merging the two into one, waiting for the energy in them. When a balance is reached, a strange flame lotus is formed. The soul's perception was concentrated outside the door. When Tang Riqian opened the door, Xiaoling directly greeted Tang Riqian with a Buddha's angry lotus. Feeling the huge energy coming towards him, Tang Riqian was so anxious that he quickly swung the big hammer and shouted, "How can it be so strong? Eat my secret skill, the big Sunni hammer." Unfortunately, before the hammer could be swung out, fire lotus it had already fallen on him and exploded in front of him. Fortunately, the fighting spirit armor was activated in time, otherwise it might have exploded into ashes. Boom! Suddenly, a huge hole was blown out of the inn, and flames began to spread around. Xiaoling jumped out of the window early and left some distance away, and was not affected at all. However, Tang Riqian ate a shot of Buddha's angry lotus close to his face. At this time, one arm was already bloody and there were also large and small burns on his body. Seeing the unharmed Xiaoling staring at him indifferently, Tang Riqian ignored his injuries and ran away, but Xiaoling didn't intend to give him a chance. When he found Tang Riqian, he ran towards him. Seeing the Douqi armor on Xiaoling, Tang Riqian knew that he was ambushed, and he was already seriously injured. There was basically no hope of escape, so he said loudly to Xiaoling, "Young man, today's incident is all my fault. I'll work hard for you. Please spare my life." But his pleading eyes were filled with deep hatred. He had already noticed that Xiaoling was only a one-star master, and planned to sneak attack when Xiaoling relaxed his vigilance. With his strength as an 8-star master, he would definitely succeed and kill him with one blow, but Xiaoling didn't give him a chance to continue speaking. He used the wind-chasing step to quickly approach Tang Riqian. Under his horrified eyes, he shot a red flame fist towards his heart. Although Tang Riqian raised his sledgehammer to resist, it bounced off after 2 seconds of stalemate. In Tang Riqian's horrified eyes, Xiaoling punched through his chest. Xiaoling's fighting principle is to kill you while you are sick. He has seen many villains die because of talking too much. Xiaoling does not want to be that kind of brainless villain. After retracting his fist and burning the blood on his fist with beast fire, he took away Tang Riqian's ring, put his soul into the 10,000 souls banner, recorded the body with the image crystal, and then put on a black robe and blended into the night.